Thanks, Sandy. And we didn't necessarily have anything prepared. I mean, we could definitely show a couple of videos or something. You know, people want to see some of our work. You know, like you're many are familiar with us, so, you know, we don't want to repeat much, but we are here to answer any questions and kind of tell you our model and how we're dealing with the situation going on now.
Sounds good. It looks like we have a hand up in the attendees. So it's Elspeth Haston from Scotland. So I'm going to allow her to talk.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Super. Thank you. Yeah, so it's nice to have a chance to talk to you. First off, I, as one of the local organising committees of the original Spinach meeting that was going to be in Edinburgh, we really appreciate your support of Spinach, the conferences and things as well. So many thanks for that, first of all. The question I've got is with cabinets and looking at research and kind of the future of cabinets. I'm wondering, how much work have you done to look into the controlling the environment within the cabinets, where you've got large fluctuations outside the cabinet, and also work on looking at detecting any movement of pests, etc., within the cabinets? So kind of high-tech cabinets, I guess.
Sure, we've looked into it a little. However, we have found that really the cost benefit of it is not necessarily there, unless, you know, we've thought about that for certain collections, especially type specimens. But mostly, this isn't all areas, we know. But especially most new areas, the rooms are, you know, temperature controlled, etc. Our cabinets are designed, you know, they're hermetically sealed, so, you know, it's the box within a box within a box concept. Those are our typical cabinets. So as far as going further than that to control the humidity and temperature inside the cabinet, we have not done that. You know, we have thought about putting some you know, thermometers and humidity detectors in there so you can see what's in each cabinet. We've thought about that again, it's an additional cost, and we found through quoting and talking with you folks, it mostly wasn't necessary, but it certainly is possible, Elizabeth. And I want to say thank you all for having us. You know, this group has been such a huge part of Delta Design's history, and we are happy to be a part of this virtual meeting.
Yeah, I think
we also do have a case study on our website regarding the air exchange rate inside our cabinets as well. And then to your question about the pest control, we haven't basically what we pride ourselves in, obviously, is making sure that there's no pest in the station or moisture. In case there's a water event, we have tested here internally for the water event, basically just spraying water on top of the cabinets, making sure that they shed off the top of the cabinets onto the floor, not inside the cabinets themselves. I think KU Biodiversity, Andy can speak for this for a little bit. They had a case of pest infestation in one of their collections, their older cabinets, but no infestation in any of the Delta cases as well.
Correct. Okay, Deborah Paul, I think you're next.
Hi, all. The Delta Designs people, you know me, this is Deb Paul from IDEC Bio.
Hi, Deb.
And Elspeth and I have chatted before, and I would, about these kinds of topics. And I am curious about the motion sensing question. If you are getting down on the floor, look at traps on the bottom to see if little dermestids are crawling around in your collection, why can't there be a motion sensor in the bottom of the cabinet? They're cheap, and we know that how dermestids travel kind of thing. Why can't there be a sensor in the bottom that can tell us if there's something moving inside the cabinet?
Yeah,
Hey, Brett, we can't hear you. Can you move closer to the mic?
Yeah, and you
Sure.
can't, yeah, and just as a hint, keep your head still and talk toward the mic, and don't, if you move, we lose it when you move around.
Sure. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
We have not looked into that type of application, Deb. Do you have any kind of link to the motion sensor that you're talking about? We would be happy to research that, especially right now. Our design team has time to see if that could be. I'm sure it could be integrated in our cabinet.
I think this is a shout out to the engineers or the people who have connections to engineers in the room. The name that comes to mind for me is Mark Harold at Argonne National Labs, and he may not be the one who knows the answer, but he might be the one who has a contact. And people here may have other ideas who to contact about that.
Yeah, what was his name?
His name is Mark. His last name is Harold, Hereld, and he is at Argonne National Labs.
Right. Thank you, Dan. We will certainly look into that.
Are there other engineers here, y'all, in the audience or connections? Y'all type in the chat or something. Thanks.
You know, I wanted to add to that, Dan, you know, we've learned a lot. You know, our name says that we you know, Delta, we try to improve, you know, learning after each job. And so we learn a lot from you all, obviously, of how best to change the cabinet. So that's just a perfect instance we need to look into.
Okay, Adriana, I think you're next.
I think she's muted.
I'm not sure who's next. I couldn't hear what you said, Andy. This is Deb again.
Sorry, Adriana Lopez. You should be able to unmute yourself and ask a question if you want to. Maybe your hand was up in error.
If for somebody, the bottom left of your screen, y'all may see a microphone, and that's how you have to click on that. It'll have a little red line on it, and you have to click to unmute.
Okay, while she's trying that, how about Christina? Christina Byrd?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. First of all, the two of the museums I've worked with in the past have had Delta cabinets and love them. I actually have two questions. The first is actually a functional like a feature on them that I've never actually quite understood when to utilize it, and it's the filter that is on each of the doors, especially like the I don't know the right verbiage to use here, but basically the full height kind of double width cabinets. They each have like one filter in the door, whether it's at the top or the bottom. When would you take that paper off to utilize that filter? And would it matter between if it's like fossils or minerals or modern specimens?
I would never do it within natural history collections, and that's a standard feature in one of our stock cabinets. You know, if we're designing to order or manufacturing cabinets to order for natural history, that would not be included normally. It was mostly brought about, you know, in our stock cabinet, mostly for textile collections. People want those to breathe a little.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm very glad that I did not take those off on the geology cabinet that we were using deltas for. My second question is, if, for example, one of the cabinets that I had gotten for a museum, I've recently moved from that museum, and I kind of failed to call y'all, but we got the kind of drawers that have the ball bearing runners. Are those runners warranted in any way if the ball bearings come out?
Certainly, Christina. And all of the components of the cabinet are warranted for 5 years, but I'll tell you, we replace parts that have been there for 10, 15 years at no charge. You know, just depends on the situation. And the cabinets are supposed to last, you know, a great deal of time. So, Christina, where are you now?
I'm currently at the Museum of Comparative Zoology, but I was at the Starnberg Museum. Unfortunately, at the time that the ball bearing issue came up was when I was preparing to transition from the Starnberg to the MCZ, and time kind of got away from me. But I do know who their new collections manager will be. That person starts in July, so I'm hoping to be in contact with her about who to contact to get that particular one runner fixed. But other than that, those cabinets have been great.
That's great to hear, Christina. And please do, Peter or myself, you know, we completely stand behind, you know, our product. And it should be functioning correct. We want to get that replaced.
Right. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Peter and Brett, Elspeth asks in the chat whether you have a link to that case study you mentioned. If one of you could type it into the chat when you get a chance, that would be good. Lynn, do you want to go ahead?
Sure, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So hi, Brett. This is Lynn Sharp. I'm at Virginia Tech in Virginia, over in Blacksburg, and we've had Delta cabinets in our geological collections and our herbarium for decades. My question is just a really quick little personal question. We've gotten new cabinets for some of our paleontological collections, and they have the new paint that makes the drawers slide, even though they're very heavy. And I'm wondering if you all have any suggestions about a safe retrofit for our older drawer glides. You know, like, is there something that I can do where the older paint it's harder to open those drawers? So obviously you guys discovered something with the paint.
So
But
those are older Delta cabinets, Lynn?
very older, yes.
Okay. Well, I know we could replace the glides with the new type paint, but then you've got the trays that have the older style as well.
No, I'm looking for the cheap solution.
Sure. some kind of Teflon, something to put on the glides or something. Sure. We don't have one, but then I'm going to make a note. Let me talk with design and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, because I'm tempted to use like Triflow or something like that, but I don't know that that's a safe thing to have inside of my cabinet.
Sure. Obviously, it needs to be something that doesn't off gas, etc.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. And it's so nice to see you guys in person. And thanks for the great cabinets. We're very happy with them.
Thank you, Lynn. Much appreciated.
Hey, Deb, do you want to ask your question that you put in the chat?
Sure. The next question, and I think I probably hit y'all up with this one back in Denver, but I'll do it again. Have you looked at ways in which, or could we all brainstorm about ways in which cabinets might tell us how full they are? So staff spend a lot of time opening cabinets and drawers and assessing this essentially by hand. You know, this drawer is half full, this drawer is empty, this cabinet has 5 spaces full. Or they, I think Jason Best, I don't know if you're in the audience, Jason, from the Botanical Research Institute of Texas, tried an imaging strategy where he could take a picture of the herbarium cabinet open and do some magic with image analysis to have it sort of tell which cubbies were full and which cubbies were empty, and then try to do some math on that. But the idea is, how can we help collections in a new way to assess the space constraints? And there must be some things we can do. And yes, we could talk about cost, but the point is to first think about, is it possible? Is there technology that could be employed? If refrigerators can tell us that the milk shelf, that the milk carton doesn't weigh very much anymore, so you need to buy milk, it makes me think there must be ways in which the cabinets could be helping us.
We don't know of any way. The only way we do know of is manually, and that's would be providing a glass insert door so you could see without opening the cabinets. that's certainly possible. We've even done that for natural history collections. It doesn't compromise the envelope of the cabinet. But as far as, you know, some kind of technology solution, I don't know, Deb. I'm not sure.
Could you mount something on the front of the drawers, like a little sliding scale that people could sort of move across that would indicate, you know, this shelf is a quarter full, half full, 3/4 full, or full? Just a thought.
We could possibly, yeah, but we haven't researched that yet, Andy.
Yeah.
But again, so the people are talking about the weights of the different, and again, these are ideas to toss out and discuss. They're not, right? This is exploring. So
Absolutely.
the fact that things weigh differently is also true for stuff in your fridge. So it means that there's a way to assess the relative weights and potentially this, again, trying to ask, how can our cabinets do for us things that would really help our lives in the collections and help the lives of the specimens, and asking, you know, what new things could they be doing?
Understood, Dan. Absolutely. We'll look into it. Hopefully by next experience, we'll have a lot of these answers.
Yeah, some people are saying in the chat that it may be easier to do that at the database level rather than at the cabinet level, at least for digitized stuff. Anybody else have any questions for Brett and Peter? If you want to talk, raise your hand and I will unmute you, and then you can chat with them.
Well, Andy, while we're waiting, let me just tell you what's been going on. Obviously, with our situation, everyone shut down for a couple months.
Hey, Brett, we can't hear you again.
While we're waiting for any other questions, just what's going on with us, you know, obviously everyone shut down for a couple of months. We actually closed the entire time for the stay-at-home order. And then, you know, obviously all regions are different. So our business opened up on May 4th. But around the country, many worked. So, and we were back to work full time producing institution cabinets. You know, what I did was, you know, got access to a large storage facility, and basically we were producing and storing for a good couple few weeks, and we're just kind of shipping as we go. It's been a real struggle, but the condition our business is in, it has allowed us to do that. And you know, obviously this isn't a great situation, but we've made it work, and it's gone pretty smooth, you know, on our side. We currently have about 6 truckloads of equipment in storage waiting to ship.
Deborah Paul says in the chat, glad to hear you folks are coming back.
Oh, hi there, Deb, if you're there.
I'm here. You talking to me?
No,
I'm sorry,
Deborah.
Deb Paul, Deborah Harding as well.
Oh.
Also, just to, you know, add in some time, you know, in the last year or two, we've done you know, quite a few projects, obviously, but some highlight ones is the LP Bayou Natural History. We did a huge one at college collection. We did we fitted the offsite for the Perot Museum of Science and Nature with a great deal of equipment. We're just finishing up Denver Botanic Gardens new wing. A couple of projects at Museum of Northern Arizona and Canadian Museum of Nature. That's just a couple highlights of what we've been doing.
Alrighty, well, thanks, Peter and Brett. I don't see any more questions coming through, so I think we are good.
I would just add from Deb, you guys heard from me, to encourage everybody, including y'all, to continue asking yourselves this question about what more can these cabinets be doing to help with digitization, to help with handling, to help with curation. I suspect we dream big. I think we'll come up with some new ways to make them jump through hoops that will really help. So thanks.
I agree, Deb. And just lastly, thank you all for doing this. And Andy, thanks for having us. Like I said, the Spinach Group, we feel a part of the Spinach Group. And we just really appreciate everyone taking the time today and always. So take care, everybody.
Thanks, guys, and thanks for your continued support of Spinach and ICOM and the collections community. You guys are great.
Thanks, Andy.